After a 3-9 season, off-field turmoil and roster turnover, the new season can't start fast enough for Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans of Michigan State as they start fresh today with the Falcons of Bowling Green. Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Vizio. Hi again, everybody. Happy Labor Day weekend alongside my partner, former Oakland Raider and San Diego State linebacker Kirk Morrison. I'm Clay Matvick. 2 years ago, Michigan State was in the college football playoff. Last year, the bottom fell out in so many ways. How do they get back?
Well, they get back by getting to their roots. And when I say their roots, it's running the football. It's London. It's Holmes. But it's really L.J. Scott, number 3. This is how Michigan State, a young football team, grows up extremely fast because they got the running game that they can rely on.
Michigan State won the toss, and they're going to take it first. I want to give this crowd reason to cheer early on. They're going to get it in the hands of the offense. The weather couldn't be better. A little on the cool side in the mid-60s as we get started. There is Darrell Stewart, the return man from Houston, Texas, the junior wide receiver, one of 2 Houston natives on the Spartans roster. Tyler Higbee, the guard, the other one. He's thinking of his family today. He's thinking about returning this kick as 2017 is underway. Nick Fields with a short kick, and Stewart gets to the outside. Runs across the 30 and is escorted out at the 34-yard line. And Brian Lewerke, the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, 6'3", 212 pounds, will get the start. He played in 4 games, got a couple of starts last year as a redshirt freshman, was essentially the co-number 1 last year with senior Tyler O'Connor before he broke his leg against Michigan in late October. D'Antonio is fully behind this young man.
Yeah, he's all in with Lewerke because Lewerke, to him, is always in control. When you got a young guy who feels like the moment is not too big for him, that's Lewerke.
L.J. Scott in the backfield on this first play from scrimmage for 2017. Lewerke wants to throw. Has a man wide open over the middle, but it's underthrown to Felton Davis, the junior receiver. Had to come back for the ball, and it's incomplete. Well, Lewerke has a very calm demeanor. He told you and I yesterday that he golfed about 35 rounds over the summer, and Mark D'Antonio has been very impressed with him.
Yeah, very impressed because I mentioned before, he's always in control. He's a quarterback that sees the field a little bit better now in his second year behind center.
On second down, Lewerke looking left, looking right. Now he's going to run. He's got pretty good feet when he needs to run. First down and much more into Bowling Green territory. Down at the 44-yard line. Gain of 22. Nate Locke, the middle linebacker, finally brought him down.
That's the one thing we talked about yesterday, Clay, when we watched him on tape. The first play I showed you was he can get out of the pocket and he can make some things happen. This time, all he does is he scans the field, sees that the pocket starts to break down, gets out, and shows off the athleticism. This is why the coaching staff here likes Brian Lewerke, making things happen.
Lewerke goes under center. L.J. Scott's going to get his first carry of 2017, churning ahead to the 40-yard line. It's going to be a 3-headed monster in the backfield for Michigan State. Maybe the most experienced position on this team, and could be one of the best units in the Big Ten. Scott is going to spearhead that triumvirate.
Yeah, a very patient runner in the backfield. And we mentioned the young offensive line outside of Brian Allen, the center. This is an offensive line that really, they want to get push up front. They know what the backs behind them can do if they can just get a hat on a hat and create a little space.
Second down and 6 from the 40 of Bowling Green. Little end around here for Darrell Stewart. He's got the first down and much more along the sideline. Finally driven out near the 10. Darrell Stewart Jr., who has family impacted by Hurricane Harvey. His mother was displaced, but he is fired up for this showcase game here to start 2017.
Yeah, nice little end around. Colin Lucas, the fullback, gets out in front. But this is that area in the red zone where you can start to take chances. And I can tell you this, Michigan State, they scripted their first 15 or so plays. And you can see early on, they want everybody to touch the football, get acclimated to the 2017 season.
After the 28-yard pickup, they're going to go to Brian Lewerke on the keeper. It's another positive pickup. Well, Lewerke not celebrated for his footwork, but a couple of good runs so far in this opening drive.
Well, how do you settle a young quarterback down? You get him going a little bit early. You get a couple runs, nice safe throws. And those two runs right there can do tremendous for a guy, young talent like that. Get his confidence going early to calm himself just a little bit, just calm himself down a little bit.
L.J. Scott. There's a first down. First down and goal to go. Guess if there was any question about whether Brian Lewerke's leg was completely healed from last fall, there's no doubt after what we've seen here on this drive so far.
Yeah, he looked us in the eye yesterday and told us, I'm healed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to lead this offense. And this is one of those decisions right here. You get down by the goal line. This is a drive that you want to start off. Your first drive of the season, you want to punch it in, but you want to do it behind this offensive line. Get that confidence going early.
L.J. Scott in the backfield. He will get it. Scott lost the football, and it's turned over. Taken away by Brandon Harris. Brandon Harris, the linebacker, takes it out of midair, returns it 27 yards, and Michigan State is denied near the goal line.
Outstanding job by this Bowling Green defense. Bending but don't break is just a good job of staying low. Nate Lockey, the guy in which this Bowling Green team, the coaching staff talked about. If there's one guy they can rely on, it's the redshirt senior, Nate Lockey. And what a big hit on L.J. Scott early on. Knocks the football loose. And Bowling Green getting confidence early. That's how you do it. A big play down by the goal line.
And now James Morgan, their sophomore quarterback, comes out of the shotgun. Their first play from scrimmage, nowhere to run. As this Michigan State defense led by Chris Fry and the middle linebacker Joe Bocci makes the tackle. James Morgan, he is a big quarterback, 6'5", 221 out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. He's experienced for a sophomore. 8 starts now in his career. Coaches call him a thinker, sometimes an overthinker. They hope the game is slowed down for him here in his second year. Deep throw down the right sideline, and it is caught near the 25 by Datron Guyton, the junior wide receiver, the former Oregon State Beaver. And Bowling Green is in plus territory for the first time.
Talking about taking a shot early on, here's Morgan just throwing it up to Datron Guyton. And this is a guy that Mike Jinks, the head coach for Bowling Green, was excited to see play. Here's a transfer coming in. A lot of big playability from Mr. Guyton.
And now on the ground, the big running back Donovan Wilson, the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. He'll pick up a couple. Well, this is an impressive start for Bowling Green. The turnover, and now deep into Michigan State territory for a second down and 7. Again, Wilson. 2 more. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 4. You know, this is a team that last season made a shift with the offense, the air raid offense becoming more of a running game down the stretch. And they won 3 in a row to close out the year.
Yeah, this football team had to find an identity, and that identity was something that they couldn't find toward the end of the year. Early on, it was throw, throw, throw. But if you don't have the players that understand what to do, or just not better than the players across from you, you got to find something different. And that was the running game last year for Bowling Green.
3rd down at 5. And Morgan threw behind his receiver, incomplete. So the Spartans forced a 4th down here. Teal Redding, the intended receiver. you know, the communication is going to have to be good for the Michigan State defense today. As you can see, Bowling Green runs with a little bit of tempo, had them on their heels, but Michigan State is able to force the field goal.
Yeah, young corners, young safeties for Michigan State, but Josiah Scott that time, nice coverage.
Jake Suter on to attempt a 36-yarder. He went viral last month when the coach challenged him to a 53-yarder in practice. And he is good here to give Bowling Green the early lead here at Spartan Stadium. Opening day 2017. The Spartans are down early. Sun-kissed Spartan Stadium. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Alongside Kirk Morrison, former San Diego State linebacker, I play Matvick. Michigan State with a turnover on its opening series at the 1-yard line. LJ Scott fumbled, and then Bowling Green kicks a field goal from 36 yards out to take the lead. Nick Fields to kick it off. And it's a short one. Popped up to the 21-yard line. And Michigan State's going to have good field position at the 34 is where they're going to start. Michigan State coming off the 3-9 season last year. The offseason turmoil. Wanted to get out to a fast start here today, Kirk, but so far it hasn't happened.
Yeah, but you think about what happened last year, and this was a football team that had nothing to play for in December and January. So the offseason started early at Michigan State. It was just basically reassessing what happened. And that first drive, you saw this football team drive down, but another mistake at the end, similar to what we saw a year ago.
Ryan Lewerke's going to hand off to Gerald Holmes. He's hit at the line. Is able to spin out of a tackle and get a couple of yards. Well, 2016 was a year to forget for the Spartans. Started out well enough, including a victory in South Bend over number 18 Notre Dame, but then 7 straight losses, including their first loss to Michigan in 4 years. Almost upset Ohio State here in mid-November, but a 3-9 season, their worst finish since 1982. And the fumble on the opening series after a 7-play drive that got him down to the 1-yard line. Scott coughed it up. And Gerald Holmes on this carry for a few more yards. It's going to bring up 3rd down and manageable for Michigan State.
But if you're Michigan State, this is where you want to be at. A 3rd and short, young quarterback. Get him into a situation where he doesn't have to read the whole entire field. He doesn't have to scan. Nice, easy 1, 2, 3 step, get the ball out, quick, easy attempts on 3rd down for Lewerke.
Just 1 pass attempt so far for Lewerke, 0 for 1. We'll send 4 receivers out there, 2 to either side. Look at her throw here. Comes to the near side again. It's off target, intended for Felton Davis. That is the 2nd time he was looking for Davis, and it failed to click.
Yeah, that's it. Dave Warner, offensive coordinator for Michigan State. You got to settle your young quarterback down. So how do you do that? A little safer throw there. That time thrown all the way out to Davis. He's been off with Davis on 2 throws now. I think something more toward the middle of the field. Nice something right in the middle of the field to help Lewerke get the confidence back and get this offense moving the chains.
Junior Jake Hartbarger comes on to punt for Michigan State. 3rd year as the Spartans punter. Marcus Milton calling for the fair catch at the 10-yard line, and Bowling Green will start at the 9 on their 2nd series. So Bowling Green leading by 3 here in the 1st quarter.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by the DQ Blizzard. Now buy 1 Blizzard and get another for just 99 cents.
Love that guy's jacket.
I need one of those.
The Bowling Green fans made the 2-hour journey to Spartan Stadium. They are clearly outnumbered today, Kirk. But so far, they're pleasantly surprised with the start of this game for the Falcons.
Well, they know they got to start fast. You're going on the road at Michigan State, their home opener. They don't lose many games here at home. And if you're Bowling Green, this is how you want to start the football game.
Yeah, in fact, 19 straight home opening victories for Michigan State. Josh Cleveland gets his first touch. And Joe Bocci, the middle linebacker, knocks him down quickly. Mike Jenks in his second year as head coach at Bowling Green. This is his first head coaching job. Was an assistant at Texas Tech for 3 years. Was a Texas high school coach for 21 years before that, including doing some coaching in the Houston area. His family and friends have been affected a little bit by Hurricane Harvey. Out of the gun, Morgan to the right side, incomplete. Third down. Cleveland well covered. That is Kenny Willekes, number 48, the former walk-on, getting a shot to start at defensive end ahead of Demetrius Cooper, who's been a bit in the doghouse for Mark D'Antonio's team.
Yeah, but Willekes has got a motor. They love Willekes. They see him all over the field. He's going to go sideline to sideline. But this is where they want to get back to their pass rush. And this is a situation here on third down where Michigan State, a point of emphasis, is getting after the passer.
And just 11 sacks last year, near the bottom in college football. Morgan with a foot in the end zone, releases over the middle. It's complete for a first down to Scott Miller, their sure-handed junior receiver.
Nice protection up front, Bowling Green there, allowing Morgan the time, and he's able to scan, and he finds his favorite target, and Scott Miller right over the ball, delivers a strike. And this is what Miller does. He catches the football in traffic and gets down. He gets the first down, but a terrific throw by Morgan on third down.
That's a gain of 14. And I'll go back to the ground game. Cleveland will pick up a couple. Donovan Wilson, Josh Cleveland, the two running backs. Cleveland, the top returning rusher for Bowling Green.
Cleveland, the more versatile back of the two. Obviously a little bit smaller, only 5'8", 179. But he's a change of pace. But he's also out of the backfield is where you got to really keep an eye on him. And that's what Michigan State so far, keeping an eye on Cleveland when he gets out of the backfield.
Here's Morgan. Incomplete. Pass a little high. Intended for Miller. Going to bring up third down and long. So we talked about that Michigan State pass rush. Here's another third down opportunity for this defense. You touched on it. The defensive line play in particular for the Spartans defense has to be better in 2017.
Well, they leaned on the front line guys too much. Your first string defensive line, they're going to be guys rotating in. So they feel like it will be more fresh when it comes to the third down situations. But is it bringing pressure or is it just bringing the front four? We'll see here on third down.
Morgan taking a deep shot, has a step. Guyton, incomplete. He went to Datron Guyton. They hooked up for a 46-yard play on the last series, but it's going to be fourth down here.
Yeah, it's just Bowling Green and their offensive line so far. Watch the pocket that he has. James Morgan able to hitch. There's no pass rush in front of him. He's able to step up and deliver the football. Just a little off with Guyton, who has got behind Michigan State defenders so far early in this football game. Now, if I'm Michigan State on defense, I really need to make sure I keep an eye on Guyton. He's got some speed.
One of the best punters in the country, Joseph Davidson, the senior for Bowling Green. Was a semifinalist for the Ray Guy Award last year. Averaged 46 yards per punt. Nothing spectacular here. Michigan State will have decent field position when we come back, but they're down a field goal in the first quarter. Tonight, #1 Alabama, #3 Florida State. New Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. First time in college football history. #1 opens the season against the top 3 opponent. Coverage kicks off at 8 Eastern on ABC. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Jimbo Fisher was Nick Saban's offensive coordinator at LSU from 2000 to 04. This is the first time Jimbo is going to face him as a head coach. The assistants over the years haven't had great luck against Nick, including Mark D'Antonio, who's 0-2 against his former boss. Saban brought D'Antonio to East Lansing back 2004. As Brian Lewerke got hit, looked like he was giving himself up. Took a shot. It's a gain of 5. No penalty flag.
Yeah, we just talked about this, Clay, right before the game, and we talked with the Big Ten officials about when a quarterback gives himself up, such as what Lewerke did there, that should have been a penalty on Bowling Green, that you don't come down and hit a player when they give themselves up with the football.
David Konowalski, the defensive end, took that shot, but the officials keep their flags in their pockets. Here's L.J. Scott, who has that turnover on the goal line from earlier. Nate Locke makes the tackle, but it's going to move the chains. A gain of 5 for Michigan State.
Yeah, get the confidence back in L.J. Scott. You know, the fumble early on, but this is where he's still your lead back, and you got to get him more touches. Get him back feeling confident. But the offensive line, tremendous blocks on that last play.
He got banged up in the season finale last year, but still had nearly 1,000 yards on the season. The junior from Hubbard, Ohio. On first down, Lewerke, straight drop back, pitches it out to Scott. And he'll get back near the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Robert Jackson, the cornerback for Bowling Green, runs him out. This defense for Bowling Green wasn't very good last year. Twice they gave up 77 points. Once at Ohio State and once at Memphis. They've already forced a 3-and-out for Michigan State today.
Yeah, the strength of this team on defense is their linebackers, and Nate Locke already with a big play early on. But you see these linebackers keying in on these backs for Michigan State. That time L.J. Scott nowhere to go.
On 2nd and 11, Lewerke finds his tight end Matt Sokol, who will lunge ahead to the 45-yard line of Bowling Green, but well short of the first down. Cameron Jeffries wraps him up. So 3rd down coming up in about 3.
But see, that's okay. I like that play call. It's a high percentage pass, a high percentage throw that's easy, pitch, catch, and just move the football. Get the confidence in your young quarterback. And now you have the ability to have a 3rd and short and try to move the chains.
Scott in the backfield. High snap, fumbled, loose football. Bowling Green has it. 2nd Spartans turnover here in the 1st quarter. David Konowalski with the recovery. It looked like a high snap that the sophomore quarterback just couldn't handle.
Yeah, you don't expect this from your Remington watch list center and Brian Allen. This is a guy who you think that you can believe in. And he's the elder statesman on that offensive line. The high snap and 2 miscues early on by Michigan State. It's nothing in which Bowling Green is actually doing. I mean, that one right there, you hurt yourself if you're Michigan State. A 3rd down situation, and now you're off the field because of a botched snap.
Brian Allen, all Big Ten guard the last couple of years, moving over to center. His older brother Jack was an All-American center for Michigan State. The flea flicker. Morgan to his right, throws on the run, behind his receiver, incomplete. Scott Miller is the intended man to bring up 2nd down. Kenny Willekes, good pressure again that time for the Spartans.
Yeah, the pressure's trying to get there, but that time Bowling Green trying to press their luck a little bit there, trying to take a shot down the field, catch Michigan State on their heels. First play after a turnover, always alert the big shot down the field. That time Michigan State had it covered.
Morgan will give it to his power back, Donovan Wilson, the 6 foot, 225-pound senior. Joe Bocci, the new quarterback of the Spartans defense, makes the tackle to bring up 3rd down. And Bowling Green already with 3 points on the board off of a Michigan State turnover, trying to capitalize on a midfield miscue again on this series. 3rd down and 7.
If I'm Michigan State on defense, I'm looking at the guy in the slot, number 21, Scott Miller. He's been the favorite target for Morgan.
Play fake. Morgan sets, throws, penalty flag down. It's incomplete. This might be against Michigan State. May have been offside.
Offside. Defense, number 23, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Well, there are 51 freshmen and redshirt freshmen on this Michigan State roster, but some of the upperclassmen are making mistakes now. This time it's senior linebacker Chris Fry.
Yeah, just a little bit early. We're trying to read, and he's got his eyes inside at the football, but he goes off sound. You never go off sound. You got to go at the snap of the football. That time Fry got caught listening rather than seeing the football be snapped.
Chris Fry led the Spartans with 96 tackles last year. That was the first penalty of the game. Makes it a 3rd and manageable for the Falcons. Play action pass. Morgan had a man wide open, but he couldn't hit Scatabo, his tight end.
But I think this is 4th down territory. That was a 4th down type of call that you're going to go for it. 3rd and 2, that's a situation where Bowling Green has said, we're a power football team now. We want to run it with our big back in Wilson. But that time you fake to Wilson, throw the pop pass. It was there. Morgan a little excited, knew he had it open. It's one of those plays that's open in practice, and you make it in practice in the game. A little bit different variables. But you made that call because you know you're going for it on 4th down.
The Spartans crowd getting behind the defense. 4th and 2 for Bowling Green. Timeout. Mike Jinks calling a timeout. Well, this is quite a contrast to the season opener last year for Bowling Green when they got pummeled by Ohio State. 77-10. It was a rough start to the Bowling Green season. And then a couple of games later got pounded, losing to Memphis on the road. Also gave up 77 points. But today, so far, so good. A couple of turnovers that they have forced. And you see that they went 4-8 last year, 3-5 in the MAC. Ended with 3 straight wins. They committed to the run down the stretch, and it paid dividends.
Well, I think what happened with Coach Jinks is you come from Texas Tech, where an offense is in place, the scheme is in place, and you say, I'm going to bring my scheme to Bowling Green. And early on, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You didn't have the players. Luckily, toward the end of the season, they found the right chemistry needed to get some wins on the board.
Wilson's in the backfield. 3 receivers set. Morgan wants to go for it on 4th and 2 through the air. Man open, it's Miller, and he can't come up with it. Scott Miller had a step on Willis. But it's incomplete, and Michigan State will take over on downs.
Morgan had him. He had his receiver that he wanted, his favorite receiver in Scott Miller. That time, you talk about throwing it into the bucket. That was a beautiful pass by Morgan. See how he drops it right inside of the arms of Miller. He's got to make that catch. He's got to make that catch. He holds that football, possibly driving that leg. But, hey, you're on the road. I like the call by Mike Jinks. You're on the road. You're in a nice situation. Go ahead, go for it. Your defense is playing well. I like the call.
The question is whether his feet would have been in had he caught the football, but it doesn't matter. Michigan State's got it. Here's L.J. Scott looking for room on the right side. Hurdles at the center as he comes to the sideline. Gets out at the 38-yard line. It's a pickup of 4 for Scott, who you know is still stinging inside from turning that ball over on the 1-yard line on the opening series.
Yeah, if I'm Coach D'Antonio, I'm bringing my guys over to the sideline right before they go out there offensively and say, guys, just take a breath. Take a deep breath. It's okay. See, there's no preseason in college football, so this is the first really game action. You see some jitters, I think, early on from Michigan State.
You can watch this game and every game you want, as they're all streaming live on the ESPN app. Darrell Stewart Jr., the Houston native, twisting his way. And there may have been a face mask as he gets out to the 45-yard line. Brandon Harris, a hybrid safety linebacker for Bowling Green, made the stop. Sure looks like it.
Yeah, a little face mask there at the end. Officials missed that one, but Mr. Stewart already with 2 early carries, but most effective run play so far for Michigan State.
And now Michigan State wants a timeout. Our five-star Labor Day weekend of college football continues with a special Sunday night primetime on ABC. Number 22, West Virginia. Number 21, Virginia Tech in the Black Diamond Trophy game at FedEx Field, the home of the Redskins. Our coverage kicks off at 7:30 Eastern, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Both teams have new quarterbacks this year, the former Big East rivals. Meeting in the season opener should be interesting.
No, very interesting. You know, Dana Holgerson's going to have that crew in West Virginia ready to roll, and Josh Jackson making his first career start, and we haven't seen a true freshman do that since what, Michael Vick?
Yeah. Well, teams coming off 10-win campaigns a year ago. So Michigan State uses a timeout, trailed by a field goal here with under a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. A couple of turnovers for the Spartans to start 2017. Lewerke, deep handoff to Scott, looking for room on the right side. He'll find a window that is maybe a yard. L.J. Scott ranks 5th all-time in rushing yards for the first 2 seasons at Michigan State. Over the course of last season, at times he seemed to be the go-to guy, even though Scott, Holmes, London, they've all kind of taken their turns over the last couple of years of being the guy.
I think defense is keyed in on him, and we're going to force the quarterback to have to make some throws.
Lewerke away from center, fakes the handoff to Scott. Has time in the pocket, now steps up, big lane. And he'll slide just short of the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 44 of Bowling Green. It's a first down for the Spartans after that 10-yard pickup.
2 early missed throws by Lewerke, and that time he missed a wide open Tristan Jackson. See, the first couple throws that you miss, you're now nervous.
Yeah.
You're a little gun shy at throwing the football. He had a wide open Tristan Jackson on the left side of the field, but he makes a smart decision, pulls it down, gains some yards.
Yeah, still has yet to complete a pass. Tristan Jackson went in motion. It's going to be L.J. Scott. And that's going to take us to the end of the quarter. Nate Locke making the tackle at the 40-yard line. Michigan State on the march, but they're going to trail at the end of one period. 2 turnovers. Bowling Green trying to shorten the game. So far, so good. L.J. Scott coughing it up. It leads to a field goal. The Falcons on the road on top after 1. Such a disappointing 2016, a long off season. It's an ugly offseason at times. Roster upheaval. They were hoping to get out to a great start here today, but so far it's been a disappointment for the Spartans. They have the football here on 2nd and 6. The Bowling Green 40 to start the second quarter. And a run to the 35 for L.J. Scott. A couple of turnovers for the Spartans in the first 15 minutes. This is their 3rd drive into Bowling Green territory. You get the impression here, Kirk, that the Spartans need to do something here on this series.
Yeah, they got to get points here, you know, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. And really, it's more about Lewerke, the quarterback, getting him to keep his eyes downfield. You know, the early throws, missed on a couple, and now he's looking to the underneath routes, the check downs. You still want to keep your quarterback's eyes downfield. And I think this is the drive for him, that if you're Mark D'Antonio and Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator, you want to find a nice little play call. You go up to your quarterback and you say, hey, what play do you like right here in this position? Call it and see if he can execute it.
Aaron Banks, the weak side linebacker, is the man who's down for Bowling Green. Brian Lewerke, just his 3rd career start today for the Spartans. He checked every box in the offseason to get ready for the year. And again, at Big Ten Media Days, Mark D'Antonio said Lewerke was equipped not just physically, but certainly mentally. It's been a shaky start today. We haven't seen him complete any meaningful passes downfield. At times, maybe running early instead of waiting and being patient in the pocket?
I would still consider him a freshman. He may be a redshirt sophomore, but he didn't play enough games for me to consider him to be a sophomore. This is still a freshman quarterback that has a lot of football to see.
He's going to hand off to Madre London, his junior running back. A gain of about 3 yards. London, if he stays healthy, could be a real weapon for Michigan State. First down for the Spartans.
Yeah, Scott, Holmes, London, all three of these backs are going to get a ton of carries today. And that time it was London's turn to find a way to find a little bit of a crease, get through, get a first down.
London again in the backfield as Lewerke looks to the sideline. 3 for 5 passing, 14 yards for the sophomore quarterback. Play fake, pressure coming out the backside, ball knocked loose. This time it's recovered by the Spartans. Madre London was Johnny on the spot to scoop it up. David Konowalski, the defensive end, knocked it away from Lewerke from behind.
Ball security for Michigan State, and that time you're Lewerke, you're going to escape the pocket. You got to keep both hands on the football and know you're in traffic. You're going to have arm, you're going to have people coming at you with the football. That time just a little not understanding where he's at on the football field. And you mentioned Konowalski comes in there, strips it down. Fortunate for Michigan State to get that football back.
And they pick up 6 yards to boot, so 2nd and 4 as Michigan State dodges a bullet. 9th play of the drive. It's London hitting the backfield. He's able to turn it into a yard pickup, but 3rd down coming up. Brian Sanders, the other defensive end, a first-year starter, he made that tackle.
3rd down and 3 to go.
Another 3rd and short here for Michigan State. And I've said it early on, if you're Lewerke, he's hesitant in throwing the football. I can hear the fans over here saying, throw the ball, because the wide receivers are open. He's just got to have confidence and let that ball go. Situation here, a quick, easy throw. Not something that you need to get down the field, but a 5-yard out, easy.
Lewerke is going to pitch it. London the first down. And he gets inside the 15 as the drive continues for Michigan State.
Or you can always do that, which is getting back to the roots, running the football, but that time a little option by Michigan State. And look, I think we see at Lewerke's athleticism. We know running the football or putting the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. But now utilizing the backs as well, another nice little weapon that they have for Michigan State.
Long drive. This will be the 10th play. They've kept it on the ground primarily. End around. Darrell Stewart inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. A gain of 6 yards for the Spartans. Marcus Milton, the free safety, getting the stop.
2nd down and 4 to go.
Looks like Aaron Banks is headed to the Bowling Green locker room. Starting weak side linebacker shaken up moments ago. Handoff bobbled a little bit by London, but he recovers and gets into the end zone. Really wasn't touched. It's a 7-yard touchdown run for the junior from Little Rock, and Michigan State has its first score of 2017. Matt Coughlin, first-year starting place kicker, on for the extra point, bangs it home, and it's 7-3 Michigan State. Well, Michigan State already has a couple of turnovers here today. They nearly did over again on the drive, but instead it's Madre London capping the series, and it's 7-3. It's all about ball security today for Michigan State. You see Madre London, who just scored that touchdown, being reminded, hey, how you got to hold on to that football. but he caps a 67-yard touchdown drive, 12 plays, 67 yards in over 6 minutes. It's the first lead of the year for Michigan State. All 67 yards, Kirk, came on the ground.
Yeah, they're having a tough time throwing the football, but I said go back to your roots, running the football. That's how they got in the end zone.
Brett Scanlon, the kickoff specialist for the Spartans, into the hands of Andrew Clare. Gets to the 20, steps out of a tackle, sidesteps another man, and dives ahead to the 25. And that's where Bowling Green will set up, and there's a penalty marker down.
After the play was over, personal foul, return team, number 10. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
There's penalty against Bowling Green. It comes against Trevor Root.
The one senior on this offensive line is center Brian Allen, the Remington Award watch list for the nation's best center, and this is the reason why. He gets up to the first level, sees no one there, but seals off the linebacker and creates that nice little seam for London to go right through for the Michigan State Spartans. Good job by the center, Brian Allen.
He had that high snap, which led to a turnover earlier in the first quarter, but no doubt one of the best interior linemen in the Big Ten. Josh Cleveland in the backfield. And that pass is off the mark to Datron Guyton, incomplete for James Morgan. James Morgan passed for almost 2,100 yards, 16 touchdowns last year as a redshirt freshman. Capable of explosive games. We've seen him hook up once already with Datron Guyton for 46 yards. He throws here, complete at the 15. Scooting ahead to the 25-yard line is Matt Wilcox, a true freshman from Huber Heights, Ohio. Gain of 12. And first down for the Falcons.
You see the zip on the pass by Morgan. It's when he knows where he's going with the football, he plants that front foot and the ball comes out quick. That thing was right there on Wilcox, and that time you catch the football, get down, and move forward for a first down.
Fake to Cleveland. Throw, tipped in the air, nearly intercepted. T.O. Redding was the receiver Morgan was trying to hook up with. It was popped up into the air and nearly picked off by Khari Willis.
Look at Josh Butler, number 19, defensive back, staying patient when the football gets there. That's technique. That's all technique. That's what you preach. It's back arm, secure the tackle, front arm, knock the ball away. That's a technique play right there by Mr. Butler.
Josh Butler coming off a great summer. Big hit for Kenny Willekes. And Shane Jones, number 49.
Always like those big hits in the game because you hear the crowd. They let you know it's a big hit. And 49, Shane Jones. They say, see ball, go get ball. And that's what 49 does. Gets in there, delivers a nice strike. Gets this crowd at Michigan State excited for a third down opportunity to get off the field on defense for Michigan State.
Bowling Green 1 for 4 on third down so far. Play action pass. Morgan looks to the near sideline. Deep ball. Guyton makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. He's kind of sealed off on that sideline by the cornerback, Justin Lane. Fourth down.
These are some young corners for Michigan State. You got a sophomore in Lane, another sophomore in Butler, and both of them great technique. That time Lane using the sideline as a defender. I mean, I had a coach who's always tell me the sideline is undefeated. He's your friend. Use him. And that time Lane used the defender, used the sideline as an extra defender.
So Bowling Green will have to punt, and Mike Jinks told us this week, he said punting is not going to be a bad option today against Michigan State, especially when they have the weapon in Joseph Davidson, one of the real good punters in the country. This is going to roll inside the 30, still rolling to the 11-yard line. Joseph Davidson, the senior from Findlay, Ohio. with a 64-yard punt.
Media timeout.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
That's the Scandalaris Football Center, just across the way here from Spartan Stadium. You know, just a couple of years ago, Mark D'Antonio's team was in the college football playoff, but last December and January, no bowl game to prepare for. But in talking to him, he feels that they've set the reset button. It was a slow start here today, no doubt about it, but maybe getting back on track now.
Yeah, getting back on track. I asked him, what do you do after a season like you had last year? I said, I had to call the people that I knew. Call Dabo Sweeney, you know, call some coaches that he can rely on and say, how do I get out of this?
Spent a lot of time commiserating with his wife, too. Handoff to L.J. Scott. He's going to pick up 1 yard. That siren you hear in the background, we knew that was coming at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So local emergency siren. They wait for the first Saturday of September to test the siren. So we knew that was coming. Just a test, only a test.
Yeah, or it could be the horn telling the Michigan State offense to wake up.
Yes.
Around here.
Couple of turnovers so far for Michigan State on offense. This is a complete pass to Hunter Rison, the true freshman, son of Andre Rison. He's going to bring up 3rd down. Mark D'Antonio, 90 wins, 3 Big Ten titles, 9 bowl trips, including winning the Rose Bowl and the trip to the college football playoff. A great resume. Last year, most likely an aberration.
I think he also, too, it's guys expected this is where we can show up. We're Michigan State and we're going to play in a bowl game, a college football playoff, and that was not the case last year. You mentioned it. They had to hit the reset button and get back to being who they were, which is running the football and being nasty up front.
Lewerke shuttle pass out to the 22-yard line, and it is caught by Tristan Jackson. A little unorthodox, but it works for Lewerke.
That's one of those plays. If I'm Dave Warner, offensive coordinator, I'm saying, oh, no, no, yes, 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 yes. But definitely he's going to talk to his quarterback, sophomore quarterback, when he comes over to the sideline. You don't want to put that ball out there. You know, faster defenders are come underneath and take that away. But you see Lewerke just improvising there a little bit, finding, hey, trying to get it done. This is some of the intangibles they talk about in their sophomore quarterback.
L.J. Scott takes the handoff, hit in the backfield and dumped. Able to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain for Scott. Brandon Harris has been active here in the first half.
One thing I'm seeing early on, though, is if I'm Bowling Green, when L.J. Scott's in the backfield, they're committing 8, 9, almost 10 guys to the box. They know that he's going to get the football, and they're forcing Lewerke, hey, to have to use his eyes, use his arm, make us back up a little bit, because I don't think that they trust him as a passer quite yet, Bowling Green.
Scott, 9 carries, 27 yards today. He's going to get another one here. To the 27-yard line. Robert Jackson makes the tackle after the 5-yard pickup. 3rd down and 5 for Michigan State. Bowling Green lost starting junior free safety Jamari Bozeman to a leg injury last week. Otherwise, they come in pretty healthy for their season opener. Trying to get off the field here on 3rd down. Lewerke out of the gun. Looks to the outside, has a man. It's Darrell Stewart. 1st down, on his feet across the 35 and taken down at the 37-yard line. Cameron Jeffries makes the tackle, but it's a 10-yard pickup, a 1st down for Brian Lewerke and the Spartans offense.
Yeah, it all starts up front with the offensive line. A nice little pocket for Lewerke. And that time, look, showing why they like him so much. Easy throw.
And he compared Lewerke to Kirk Cousins and Connor Cooking away. And, you know, when they were redshirt freshmen, they did just fine. How about Connor Cook in 2013 as a redshirt freshman? Led him to the Rose Bowl. They're hoping for that kind of success for Bryant. He's in trouble here. Going the wrong direction inside the 20-yard line. Coming back to the near side. He's going to run it out close to midfield. Again, improvising, and it's a first down for the Spartans. A gain of 12. He ran about 35 yards on the play. They'll move the chains.
His name's Brian Lewerke, but I may have to call him Brian the Magician. That time he gets out of what I thought he was stopped, and the next thing you know, he finds a way to get out. And the one thing I'm most impressed about with this run is that he keeps his eyes downfield the entire time. He was looking to throw. He didn't want to run. He was trying to make a play, but that time he just get what you can get out of bounds. High five your teammates.
He'll pitch it back to Gerald Holmes. Double pass. Here's Lewerke. He'll throw it downfield. Contact incomplete. No penalty flag. Felton Davis looking for one. As Michigan State goes with a razzle-dazzle play, comes up empty.
Yeah, good job by Fred Garth, the safety, and Tavares Wade for Bowling Green. They weren't fooled. They stayed with their man. It's a good call by Michigan State. You're trying to catch Bowling Green on their heels a little bit after a big play from your quarterback. But that time, it didn't look right from the beginning. I think Lewerke should have just kept that football. Hey, it was there in practice. It's not there in the game. Get 5 yards, get out of bounds, and move on to the next play.
Ninth play of the drive. Lewerke to the air again. It's underthrown. Darrell Stewart is able to get his arms under it and make the catch about a yard short of the first down. Jim Bowman and Dave Warner, the co-offensive coordinators. Warner calls the plays. They've been sharing duties the last 5 years. And that's going to be a stop in the backfield for Bowling Green's defense. A loss of 3 as Kyle Jr., the defensive tackle, wraps up Scott. And it's 4th down.
Yeah, Michigan State tried to go hurry up there, but Kyle Jr. got on the line of scrimmage. It got penetration and knocked that ball carrier in the backfield. Edgley Scott showing frustration there that not a lot of holes been open for Mr. Scott, and the earlier fumble, you're starting to see some frustration on number 3. But my hat's off to that defensive line for Bowling Green. They've been getting off on the rock, and that time forcing a punt for Michigan State.
Second punt for Jake Hartbarger. Milton is going to let it sail over his head. It bounced in the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback. 45-yard punt for Hartbarger. Bowling Green starts at the 25 when we come back. We'll wrap up your Labor Day weekend with the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Number 25, Tennessee and Georgia Tech from Atlanta. Coverage begins on Monday night at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Butch Jones in the post Josh Dobbs era still hasn't named a starting quarterback, at least as of yesterday. Quentin Dormady and Jared Garantano, the candidates. Here's Andrew Clare, running back for Bowling Green, across the 30. And out at the 35-yard line on first down. Good run of 15 yards for the Falcons. Just a great first weekend of college football, of course. Big one tonight. Florida State and Alabama. Glad to have it back, Kirk.
Glad to have it back. I'm excited. I mean, I'll get a chance to do this game, and then it's football all weekend for me the rest of the week, because we don't know. So many unknowns and players. We saw Thursday night, J.K. Dobbins for Ohio State. It's those players who you didn't know their name before. Now, all of a sudden, they're a household name at the beginning of this college football season.
That's the voice of Kirk Morrison, former linebacker at San Diego State and the Oakland Raiders. I'm Clay Matvick. They're going to dump it down to Andrew Clare. Morgan with a short completion. Give Bowling Green 3 yards on that play. A lot of action this weekend, and the best way to keep track of all the games is the ESPN app. I mean, you can watch a game on TV, and then on your phone you can get highlights and information about the other games going on at the same time. It's the way to do it.
Yeah, you get not only your college news, your NFL news, and they even had a trade in the NBA finally pushed through with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
I'm getting all my sports on the app.
You can put your phone down now, though. I need you to concentrate.
Always.
Second down at 7. There's James Morgan, sophomore out of Green Bay. Taking the shotgun snap. He'll hand it off. And Michigan State was ready for that one. No game. As Wilson is wrapped up by the middle linebacker, Joe Bocci, who replaces the two-time All-Big Ten middle linebacker, Riley Bullough, who's trying to make the Buccaneers 53-man roster.
Yeah, Joe Bocci, a captain today on this football team, a starter. And I think a guy, to me, in a long lineage of middle linebacker play at Michigan State. They think he's one of the next great linebackers that'll play here.
Max and Riley Bullough. Byron Bullough on the team now. Bowling Green 1 for 5 on third down so far today. Here's a 3rd and 7. Morgan feeling some pressure, gets rid of it, should have been caught. There is a penalty marker on the play in the backfield. Incomplete, but we'll see what this is about.
Holding. Offense, number 68. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, this time Michigan State, they rush 5. They've got 6 guys near the line of scrimmage, but they disguise it. They only bring 5, and that time Brandon Randall, the outside linebacker, they call him the star position, was held by Ryan Hunter.
And Demetrius Cooper, the senior defensive end, is slow to get off the field. It's a bit of a surprise to be number 2 on the depth chart to start the year. It's because of some underwhelming play, some off-field issues. Said it before, he's trying to get out of the doghouse. Led the team with 2.5 sacks last year. Gives you an idea of how poor the pass rush was a season ago. 3rd punt for Davidson. He had a 64-yarder on his last kick. Here's Stewart with a little room. It's across the 25 to the 28-yard line, and a marker is down. 47-yard punt for Davidson.
They got a block in the back here.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 16. 10-yard penalty from the spile to foul. Michigan State ball, 1st down and 10.
Spartans are going to be backed up with a minute 35 to go before halftime in a close ball game here in East. Back here at Spartan Stadium, where Darrell Stewart on 1st down makes a catch out to the 22-yard line. That's a gain of 7 yards. Michigan State, Kirk, on its last 2 drives, 22 plays, 111 yards, 12 minutes, but just 7 points to show for it. Lewerke goes to the air again. A low throw, but it's caught. And that's Felton Davis for a 1st down. Gain of 13.
I think this is a situation, the 2-minute drill, that can bring Brian Lewerke, I think, to life, because not a lot of thinking in this. It's just hike the football, throw to the open receiver. I think this is something that he kind of thrives in.
The offense has been anemic up to now. Flipped it out. Gerald Holmes out of the backfield. Good run after the catch. And he's going to be stopped at the 43-yard line. Timeout, Michigan State. With 52 seconds to go before half. The offense showing signs of life now, leading 7-3.
Michigan State, their 2nd of the half. It'll be 1.
Watch this game, any game you want. They're all streaming live on the ESPN app. Back here at Spartan Stadium, Claymatic Kirk Morrison. Season opener for Michigan State. Leading 7-3 with 52 seconds to go before halftime. And the offense, midfield, has a completion. Nice catch for Tristan Jackson. Mark D'Antonio wants him to take charge of that receiving corps. Down to the 42 of Bowling Green, a gain of 15.
If you're Michigan State, you want to hurry this up. Communication, especially early in the season, is going to be key for Bowling Green.
Brian Lewerke dances out of the pocket, steps up, throws, it's high, incomplete. And that could be a targeting call. Felton Spencer took a hard hit from Marcus Milton.
Yeah.
Whether it was an illegal hit or not, we'll have to find out.
Well, I'll tell you this. Marcus Milton probably just got himself ejected out of this football game. He launched himself at a defenseless receiver, and I think on the letter of the law, you have to rule this targeting.
Jeff Servinski, our lead official here today.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense, number 14. That play is under further review.
Now it's in the hands of Bill Lottie, our replay official.
Yeah, but I just watched at the end the launch. You see it's 14 here. Now watch the launch right there. He launched his body and actually led with the head on a defenseless receiver. That helmet-to-helmet contact is really what they're trying to get out of the college game here. And watch the crown of the helmet.
Yeah.
It hits the back of the helmet, and I think you can see the way the receiver fell as well. Felton Davis to the ground. He's defenseless, and I think this is why the targeting call is in.
Reminder what targeting is: forcible contact with the crown of the helmet, or striking a defenseless player at the head or neck with the helmet, fist, forearm, elbow, or shoulder. And when in question, Kirk, this is a foul every time. Over the last few years, since the targeting penalty was introduced, we have seen that whenever it is remotely close, they're going to call the penalty.
Yeah, you very rarely see this call reversed. Usually when you see it on the field, it's usually the call that they usually stick with, unless they get some evidence otherwise.
After further review, the contact by the defender was with his shoulder to the back of the receiver. Therefore, there is no targeting. The result of the play is an incomplete pass, second down.
Well, there has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. Apparently, what Bill Lottie and the replay officials upstairs saw was that there was evidence to overturn it.
Yeah, I think they may say that he led with the shoulder. I just saw the helmet. And I saw the helmet-to-helmet contact and the launching, that part right where he launches his body, where the shoulder actually gets there first, but I still see the helmet-to-helmet contact. And I saw the end of the play. That time they saw it differently, but I think the letter of the law shows the helmet-to-helmet contact on a defenseless receiver should be targeted.
Now Bowling Green dodges a bullet. And now Lewerke on second down and 10, over the middle. Catches his man in full stride. Darryl Stewart getting away, still on his feet inside the 5-yard line, down to the 2. What an effort by Darryl Stewart, the Houston, Texas native. First down, goal to go, Spartans. They hurry up over the football. Now penalty flags.
I think I'm going to go defense on that one. I thought he was drawn off sides by a defender, but I think they're going to get Luke Campbell, the right tackle. False start. But remember, the 2-minute drill was at the 10-second runoff here, too. That was what we talked about a little bit earlier.
Offense, number 18. Because the clock was running under 1 minute and the foul was the only thing that stopped the clock, a 10-second run-up option is available. Michigan State is using their final timeout to avoid the runoff.
Yeah, the team on
Michigan
offense
State, 1 minute in length.
can use a timeout in lieu of the 10-second runout, so it will stay at 17 seconds. And Darryl Stewart, the big catch, but the run after the catch more impressive.
Well, I think going into this game, we talked about playmakers, and the first guys that came to mind were Scott, Holmes, and London. Those are the running backs. But I think today, Darryl Stewart is showing you, you got to put the football in my hands. He's carried the football at least 3 times in those end arounds, but this time just a nice, quick in route, an easy throw for Lewerke. Puts it out there and lets Stewart do the rest.
And now let's see who moved first down on the goal line here. Well, it sure looked like the defense did.
I saw defense first, and that's my first reaction. Look, and I'm a former defender. Sometimes you just you hear a sound, and it could have been yellow, it could have been orange, whatever the call was, and you see that defensive lineman go first. Offensive lineman, he reacted.
And because it was against the offense, there's a 10-second runoff option for the opponent. But The team on offense can call a timeout.
Right.
In lieu of that 10-second runoff, so it stays at 17 seconds. First down, goal to go from the 7. Lewerke, Cox fires incomplete. And another flag. A couple of flags rain in. Fred Garth, the strong safety. Was that pass interference?
Maybe another targeting call. I'm looking at Garth Jr., the junior safety.
Personal foul. Targeting.
It is a
Defense.
targeting call.
Number 4. That play is under further review.
Here we go again.
Anytime when you're in a condensed area, especially down there, it's inside the 5-10 yard line, you throw a ball over the middle, there's bodies there. There's going to be contact. And I believe in that last play, you're just reacting, and Garth lowers his helmet and gets Stewart right there on the side of his helmet. So it's another decision by the replay officials upstairs.
And Cameron Jeffries had already done a brilliant job in the coverage. It was going to be an incompletion, and then Garth with the hit after the pass had sailed through against Darrell Stewart.
Yeah, but it seems to be he's leading with his shoulder, and he's trying to go shoulder-to-shoulder contact, but the receiver is coming down, which is Stewart.
After review, the ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 4 is disqualified from the ball game. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
What an unusual series. So Marcus Milton called for targeting. He gets a stay of execution, but Fred Garth, he is gone from this football game, ejected for targeting here in the closing seconds of the first half.
I thought Milton's looked worse than Garth's. Garth was a situation, hey, there's bodies flying in there. The ball's inside the 5 yard line. I thought Garth's looked to me probably not targeting, but they ruled it. And now Garth's first game of the year, he's got to go into the locker room.
First down, goal to go. From the 4 yard line, Michigan State leading 7-3 on Bowling Green. Gerald Holmes in the backfield. Lewerke looking to pass to the end zone. Man open, touchdown. Felton Davis. First passing touchdown of the year for Brian Lewerke.
That's pretty easy. Dave Warner just dial up. I got man-to-man coverage on the outside. My 6'4", 195-pound junior. Let him be his man one-on-one, make a throw, let him go make a play. Touchdown, Michigan State.
And Matt Coughlin with the extra point. Michigan State showing efficiency in the hurry-up, the passing game. Right here before halftime, it's now 14-3.
Yeah, I thought this would be a situation where Lewerke would thrive in, and the reason why is because a lot less thinking. It was just a guy who sits back there and just has fun. And this is what they wanted him to do. Go out, have fun, just go play. They know the mistakes will be there. He's a redshirt sophomore quarterback. Didn't play enough games his redshirt freshman year, but the one thing is that when you are down by the goal line, inside 5, I've got a 6'4" wide receiver on a 5'11" defensive back. I'm going to take that matchup all day long, and he turned Robert Jackson of Bowling Green all the way around. Good job by the quarterback Lewerke and Felton Davis with a touchdown.
The team admittedly last year suffered from a leadership vacuum. They're hoping Brian Lewerke can step into the leadership role from the quarterback position this year. As Leonard Scatabo brings it back for Bowling Green, they're going to have just a few seconds to work with here before the end of the first half. Championship drive brought to us by Dr. Pepper. Can't wait for Florida State and Alabama from Atlanta tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. Some other good games, of course, this weekend. BYU, LSU, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Ohio State, it was not a great start for Urban Meyer's club, but they really got going in the second half and pulled away from Indiana.
And that's what you're seeing with a couple of Big Ten teams early on. We saw it last night with Wisconsin. We saw it with Ohio State on Thursday, like you mentioned. And we may see it today here with Michigan State. The depth on which these football teams in the Big Ten have, you start to see it, and it wears on you in the second half of football games, especially early on in the college football season.
They're going to run it here. So passing with the final 3 seconds. So Michigan State with a couple of turnovers in the first quarter, but Brian Lewerke and the offense come alive. And 2 touchdown drives in the second quarter. The Spartans in the season opener lead at 14-3 over Bowling Green at the half. Stay tuned after the break. We'll take you to the studio, preview Michigan, Florida, Florida State, Alabama.
It seems like every financial company.
First Saturday of ESPN's college football season, presented by Vizio. We're at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. I think the crowd has settled in now. Michigan State certainly showed signs of settling in the second quarter. 14-3. Looking forward here to the second half. 3 first quarter fumbles in that first quarter for the Spartans. It led to 2 turnovers, Kirk Morrison. And the second quarter was much better, as we alluded to. Why did it get better for redshirt sophomore quarterback Brian Lewerke?
Well, I think he was able to settle in. And remember, I still call them freshman mistakes. I know he's a sophomore, but he still only played 4 games last year, only 2 starts. So he's going to have the freshman mistakes. But I thought once he settled into this football game, you start to see the intangibles. Why people compare him to Connor Cook and Kirk Cousins. You see him get out of the pocket, utilize his legs a little bit. I thought that calmed him down, and especially that 2-minute drill. That's Brian Lewerke that they're excited about.
Bowling Green also has a sophomore quarterback in James Morgan. He's had a tough day today. The Michigan State defense at times has been very sharp, especially shutting down the passing game for the Falcons.
Well, you got to give credit to the defensive backs, the young defensive backs of Michigan State. They've played terrific so far. They've held James Morgan to just those 4 completions. He's been up top a couple times. And look, when you have a defense like Michigan State who is hungry, they're trying to show everybody we belong. This is the reason why I think Morgan's having a tough time.
That's their game track brought to us by Taco Bell. Just 104 yards of total offense for Bowling Green in that first half. So, and the defense for Michigan State, which has 6 freshmen or sophomores starting on that side of the ball, played pretty well in the first 30 minutes. And Bowling Green will get the football to start the second half. Brett Scanlon has it in the air. This is returnable for Andrew Clare, the true freshman out of St. Louis. He is walloped just shy of the 20-yard line. Hammered at the 19 by Sokol. Matt Sokol, the starting tight end, laying a lick on special teams.
Yeah, that's how you get everybody excited. You see he's pumped up. He's shaking hands. You start getting some chest bumps over there on the sideline, and that's why you got your starting tight end making plays on special teams. Clay, that stuff is infectious, man.
Yes,
now guess what? Everybody wants to make a play, especially here week 1 in front of the home fans.
That's why they think he's going to make such an impact in the Spartans passing game throughout the course of the year. He's big. He's got great speed. Taking over for Josiah Price, who was the tight end the last 4 years, put up big numbers. So Bowling Green's offense trying to get started here. Something positive in the third quarter. After a quiet first half. They're complete here to Tio Redding on first down. The senior trying to finish strong. He quit junk food this offseason. Added some muscle. He picks up 7 yards.
Yeah, nice little underneath route. Kind of get these guys in space. And I think this is what Bowling Green, probably halftime adjustments. What do we need to do against this Michigan State defense? I think it's getting them in space, more catch and run elements.
Josh Cleveland nowhere to go. There's Kenny Willekes, the former walk-on defensive end, making another big tackle. It's been a hard day for Bowling Green, especially on the ground. They wanted to establish the run today. Really hard to do that. That's a loss of 1, and on third down they are 1 of 6.
And if you're Michigan State, you like that, but you don't have any sacks. That's what you want. You want to get sacks. You want to increase and get that total up from a year ago where only 11. See if they can get one here.
Play fake. James Morgan fires to the outside. Well covered. Incomplete. Josiah Scott, the exciting true freshman cornerback who was an early enrollee, played well in the spring game, makes a nice play here to bring on the punting unit for Bowling Green.
We haven't talked enough about the freshmen of Michigan State. A lot of them got here early. They got here in June. They learned the system. They were able to practice with the older veterans on the team. And you're starting to see a lot of these freshmen today come out and play. That was a great job by Josiah Scott. Patient, waited for the ball to come and knocked it down.
Joseph Davidson, low punt into the arms of Darrell Stewart. And at the 31-yard line is where Michigan State will set up. 2 Michigan State turnovers in the first quarter. And again, the 2 touchdowns in the second quarter as Brian Lewerke, the sophomore from Phoenix, got his feet under him.
Right. He got his feet under him, and just talking to him yesterday, I said, what bothers you? You're such a cool, calm quarterback for your years. And the thing he brought up is that his pet peeves, and his pet peeves were mental errors. And earlier in the game, you saw mental errors, but at the same time, I don't think he allowed those errors to really affect him. So this is a situation where a quarterback overcoming some early adversity and start to make some plays.
And around to Darrell Stewart. He's hemmed in. He's going to slip and be caught from behind and forced back. Give him forward progress to the 24-yard line. Nate Locke, the middle linebacker, leading the way on that loss of 7 for Michigan State.
Yeah, Brian Lewerke in the first half, a couple mistakes, but he utilized his feet, always keeping his eyes downfield, and even when he takes off, protecting the football when he can. But he's found something, I tell you, in 25. Darrell Stewart. I mean, you talk about a guy who has helped him out so much, and then down here at the goal line, I got a 6'4" receiver in Felton Davis. I'm just going to let him go out and beat that man one-on-one, put it where he can make a play.
On 2nd and 16, it's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him underthrow a football. That's Sokol, the tight end, who can't come up with it. Lewerke's been off target several times. Again there to Sokol, bring up 3rd down and long.
I have 2 theories on that. Number 1, technique, fundamentals. That time he just tried to arm it instead of stepping through and pointing that front shoulder, delivering a nice strike. I think he got lazy in the fundamentals and his technique, and that's how the ball goes down. When you see balls are thrown that poorly, I look at technique more, and also still a young sophomore.
Sets in the pocket. That time he's on target. To Jackson. Jackson had a big spring game. He and Lewerke worked well together. People have been talking about Tristan Jackson since. That's out to the 46-yard line. 1st down, Michigan State.
Yeah, I just talked about technique and fundamentals, and Brian Lewerke shows you. He eyes it down. Nice hitch. He steps up, front foot pointed. He pointed that front shoulder and delivered a strike. And when the fundamentals, when you take care of that first, it helps you when you throw the football. And that was a strike by Brian Lewerke.
4th play today for the Spartans of 20 yards or more. They go back to the ground, and L.J. Scott spins ahead for a couple. The one thing that Mark D'Antonio said about Brian Lewerke that he wanted to see today, not the physical stuff, it was the mental stuff. What kind of decisions is he going to make? Here's how he's distributed the ball today when he's thrown it. What have you thought about his decision making?
Well, seeing him break down the middle of the field, 11 yards or more, that's an easy throw for him because his eyes are downfield and he knows where he's going with the football. When you see him throw to the outside 10 yards, those are more check down type of routes. But when he knows where he's going with the football and he takes care of his fundamentals, he knows what to do.
The slant to Cam Chambers, the redshirt freshman. A big play down to the 21-yard line. Another newcomer making a contribution. That's a gain of 30.
Yeah, you mentioned the redshirt freshman, 6'2", 211 Chambers, and he just runs a slant route. 1, 2, that's timing. See, that's at practice. Nice little rub route as well as he gets the defenders to run into each other a little bit, but that's what you practice every day. That's just right there, routes on air. He can do that in his sleep, and you see the connection right there with Chambers.
One of the 4 freshmen in the receiving corps. Now Lewerke, deep handoff, L.J. Scott, and he'll get a handful. Just 24 career catches for the returning wide receivers and tight ends, as Wade is going to have to go to the sideline for at least a play for Bowling Green after his helmet came off. But they like the talent and the potential there in the receiving core for Michigan State, Kirk.
Yeah, a lot of talk of number 7, Cody White. Hunter Rison, we saw earlier, making his Michigan State debut, the son of Andre Rison. You have talent there, but how fast do they grow? How fast do they grow up? I mean, these are true freshmen playing a major role, they think, in this offense.
Play action rolling out to the right. Lewerke, eyes downfield, he'll come to the sideline. Keeping his feet inbound, the aforementioned Cody White. The Novi, Michigan native with a nice play.
That was the first guy that Coach Mark D'Antonio talked about when I asked him, who's the guy that you want to see? And he said, I want to see Cody White. Young freshman, has done everything perfect for them. And look at the nice little toe tap. You know, that's a true freshman.
That's an NFL play.
That's an NFL play. Remember, you need one in college. White got 2 down. Nice little play, his first catch in college football.
His dad Sheldon was in the Lions front office for many years, now working here at Michigan State. Sets up first down and goal. Lewerke on the hoof, trying to find the edge on that far sideline, can't do it. And Bowling Green defense, good pursuit. They stretch him out. Cameron Jeffries, the cornerback, drops him for a loss of 1. Cody White, one of the freshmen that they think has a bright future. We said it at the top of the broadcast, Kirk. 51 true freshmen and redshirt freshmen on the roster. Mark D'Antonio has never had a roster this young since he's been a head coach in college football.
You know, yesterday we had meetings in their receiver room, and White kept walking in, and I'm saying, that kid's not a freshman. I say, no, that is a freshman. 6'3", 206 pounds. Excited about him.
Lewerke should have had a touchdown. Dropped by Sokol. Matt Sokol was all alone on an island in the end zone and dropped it.
I don't know if Sokol will be that wide open the rest of the season. A nice little scissors route here. He's the outside tight end, and he cuts in, and there's nobody there. Nobody in the back of that Bowling Green defense. And I think we got to go back to earlier. Fred Garth, the safety, number 4, kicked out of the game, ejected for targeting. And I don't know if that communication is still there. When you have one of your starting safeties, Garth, who's a junior, ejected for targeting, the communication just a little bit off. That's how you get a tight end running wide open in the end zone.
So now 3rd and goal. Lobbed to the corner. A battle for it. Touchdown. What a play by Felton Davis. Second touchdown for Davis. The top returning receiver for Michigan State having himself a good season opener. And the extra point is good for Coughlin. 10-play, 69-yard touchdown drive in 4:35. The sophomore, Brian Lewerke, finding his rhythm. That's his second touchdown pass to Davis. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Clay Matvick and former 2-time Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, Kirk Morrison, proud San Diego State Aztec. 21-3 now, Michigan State leading. Just over 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Number 14, Brian Lewerke. Good hair, good numbers the last couple of drives.
Yeah, he's preseason All-American on the hair team right now in college football for sure. He's leading that department, but he's settled in, especially these last 2 drives. I think this is what Michigan State expected from him in this start, settling in and making the plays.
Bowling Green's going to start At the 12-yard line, let's go back to the last touchdown pass. Lewerke to Davis.
Yeah, it's what they call a smash corner concept, meaning the outside receiver runs a 5-yard stop and the inside receiver runs to the corner, or a 7 route. But when you have a 6'5", 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver and a 5'11" corner, you just throw it up and then you get excited like the guy eating the apple. He's not going to let that apple go. He's holding on to the apple, but he's got that fist in the air because he knows that was a great play. First of all, great throw by the quarterback, Brian Lewerke, but an even better play by Davis, the receiver. Second time they've hooked up today.
It's so obvious that since the first quarter, Lewerke has calmed down. He told us how calm he was by nature, but it's still starting a season opener as the clear #1 guy now. Had to be nerve-wracking this week leading up to it as Donovan Wilson makes the catch. Antoine Simmons, the weak side linebacker, on the stop, second down and about 7.
I think you also have to remember that this is his 3rd year in the program. So his first year that he redshirted, he sat behind Connor Cook, and he watched, you know, a guy who was a 3-time starter, all the accolades and Connor Cook had. He learned how to play the position.
Andrew Clare, the true freshman, looking for operating room on that right side. Not much there. Bring up 3rd down and fairly long. The other thing is, you know, they've had a great run of quarterbacks here at Michigan State. Kirk Cousins, Connor Cook here most recently.
Right.
And that's what he's thinking about, too, in the back of his mind. I've got to live up to those standards.
Yeah, I think that, and those are the cut-ups that he watches. He watches the Kirk Cousins cut-ups. He's watched the Connor Cook cut-ups, and he watched the way those guys operated within this offense. And they didn't have to put it all on their shoulders. They utilized that running game, and that's what Michigan State is hoping to do, is to use that running game to allow Lewerke to continue to get better.
Morgan had a clean pocket to throw from for the first down, but hold everything. There is a penalty marker on the play. Guyton made the catch.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's an illegal formation. Too many men in the backfield. The Falcons who weren't lined up right.
You got to get that offensive line up on the line of scrimmage. That happens earlier on. Offensive linemen, they get an extra step back so they can read the rush. And we've seen Michigan State on 3rd down. They've been bringing 5 and some stunts and blitzes on 3rd down. Here's another 3rd and long situation. There's 5 men on the line of scrimmage.
Bowling Green just 1 of 7 on 3rd down. James Morgan. Pressure dropped just outside of the end zone by Chris Fry. First sack of the day for Michigan State. They only had 11 last year.
If you're defensive coordinator Mike Tressel, you're excited. You're pumped up about that play. Because here's Chris Fry coming off the edge, and he just blows by and uses his hands. This is where a 4-man rush. They didn't blitz. It was a situation, just a 4-man rush. And a nice swipe move by Fry as he gets up. Offensive lineman gets in his face. He used 2 hands, swipe away, and then just go be relentless and get the quarterback sacked for Michigan State.
Forcing Joseph Davidson to punt in the back of the end zone. Got it out to midfield. Stewart is going to be brought down right around the 45-yard line. Great field position for the Spartans. With 6:22 to go here, 3rd quarter. Spartans now with a commanding 21-3 lead.
Immediate timeout.
Why are there high expectations at quarterback at Michigan State? Because the last 4 guys to play the position full-time here in the NFL now. Drew Stanton, Brian Hoyer starting for the 49ers this year. Kirk Cousins starting quarterback for the Redskins. He had over 9,000 yards, 66 touchdowns as a Spartan. And Connor Cook, of course, 2 Big Ten titles, the Rose Bowl MVP. Lewerke knows about those standards and had just 2 starts last year before breaking his leg in October. Clear #1 coming out of camp. How'd you assess his day so far?
Well, I tell you, the lineage is there when you looked at that quarterback tree right there. But I think so far you watched him settle into the game, and he's making the plays that are there for him to be made. And that's what you expect from your quarterback.
He's got an open receiver, overshot him. It was the tight end Sokol again. He was being pressured as Bowling Green knocked him down. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that's the one where you knew the play call and you were excited about it. They were trying to find Sokol, the tight end, streaking down the left sideline, but you got to protect it first. You protect first and then be able to throw that football. That time, Bowling Green, and I've said it before, their defensive line has been coming after Michigan State today. It's just that they haven't had enough of those opportunities to keep Lewerke with the ball in his hand. He's been getting rid of it pretty quickly.
Gerald Holmes, little or no gain. Gerald Holmes has really matured as a leader. We talked about Brian Lewerke, one of the guys they're looking to for leadership this year. Holmes, part of the team leadership council. Guy's going to have to step up this year. That was clearly an issue in 2016, Kirk.
Yeah, you try to find leadership, and I think the leadership group has to be more of the running back position. When you got 3 guys who are junior, senior, that's where your leadership's going to come from. And Holmes, who's the captain today, more of the blocking back, trying to show, hey, I want some more carries. We haven't talked L.J. Scott a lot today.
Lewerke climbs up in the pocket. He's going to try and run for that 1st down, and he got there. Went head first. Got to the 35. That's where the line to gain was, plus a couple of yards. So now Michigan State 7 for 10 today on 3rd down.
You know, I'm always impressed when quarterbacks know the situation. See that the yellow line that we get a chance to see and watch and at home and up here in the booth. There's no yellow line out there for Brian Lewerke. He knows where to get to as a quarterback. So when he breaks contain, he knows I got to get to that yard marker, and he dives head first for it.
That's what you were talking about with the decision making. Good decision where to dive, and he got there. Brandon Harris cramping up a little bit. It appears he is going to be all right for Bowling Green. Been impressed with Lewerke's ability to run when he's needed to today. At times he's been off with the passes, something he's definitely going to have to work on, but the footwork is there for sure.
Yeah, the footwork is there, but I'm impressed more that he keeps his eyes downfield. He's always trying to look to make a play. Earlier he had a little flip pass, but he's learning what he can do and not do when he gets out of the pocket.
Trying to throw again here. Caught at the 25-yard line by Felton Davis. That's a gain of 8. Good adjustment by the junior, who has a couple of touchdown catches today.
Lewerke showing off his arm here from the opposite hash, throwing all the way over here, but watch the catch. It's all hands, and you need your receiver to help you out a little bit. And Felton Davis has helped his quarterback out a lot. 2 touchdowns already, and that play just all hands.
It's Holmes, good run. Great patience to find a seam and pick up the 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 17 for Michigan State.
Yeah, the one thing Michigan State we don't talk enough about is their tight ends. And that time it was Sokol and Sabert and Davis. The tight ends, just a nice little seal on the backside, and the patience, like we just talked about, of Holmes, starting right, cutting all the way back. And it was a nice seal by the tight end group, doing a good job of getting up to the next level.
It's going to be Gerald Holmes again. This time the senior from Flint is wrapped up and thrown for a loss of a yard. That's Nate Locke, the linebacker, leading the way. Matt Sokol, Noah Davis, Matt Dotson, a junior and 2 freshmen, but a good tight end crew for Michigan State. It's the area of the field that might expect to see the tight ends. I'm going to send 3 wide receivers out there, bring a fullback in. Play back for Holmes again. David Konowalski with the tackle after that 5-yard pickup. 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down, and let's understand the situation here. 3rd down, you've already feel like you got points. You're in field goal range. So this is where decision-making comes in for Brian Lewerke. If they call a pass here, understanding you see if it's there, if it's not, get rid of the football or get what you can, but you don't throw into traffic. You want to concede those points, and this is some of the decision-making that they want to see him progress here on third down.
Here's Lewerke to the right, finds Sokol. Sokol lunging, did he get in? Yes, touchdown. Three straight drives that result in a touchdown for the Spartans.
It's a touchdown. Timeout for an injured player.
We'll see if he gets in here. I thought the knee possibly could have been down. And I think right there, I think the knee got down before the ball crossed the goal line. I think they're going to take another look at this one. I thought the knee was down.
I think you're right. David Beadle, the right guard, limping toward the sideline. It looks like he's going to be all right, but there's Sokol. The play ruled a touchdown on the field. Bill Lottie, our replay official, is looking at it now.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Let's take another look.
Yeah, see, the one thing is you want to know, where does the knee touch? And it looks to be right outside the 1 yard line. And see, the end of the plays, he finally extends over, I think, the goal line. So you have to find an angle indisputable enough. And I'm trying to look through these different angles so far. Remember, the call on the field is a touchdown. So will there be indisputable evidence to show that the ball was not across the goal line? And just from the vantage point, if you're saying that knee probably went down about the 1.5 yard line, I don't know if you can say that that ball was across the goal line.
Pretty good play too by number 38, Ben Hale, to make that hit right before Sokol was to lunge out. That may have kept him out of the end zone.
Yeah, I think Hale, the 6'3", 208-pound senior for Bowling Green, nice little hit. You know, he's in for Fred Garth, number 4, the safety that we talked about earlier. You know, targeting call, he's ejected. So, you know, guys got to step up, and Hale trying to make a play, keeping Sokol out of the end zone.
Here comes the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
Well, Matt Sokol gets the benefit of the doubt. It was going to be hard to overturn the call on the field because it was a little hard to tell. There wasn't indisputable video evidence. So Sokol, who dropped a touchdown earlier, makes amends with a touchdown here with 2:46 to go in the third quarter. And this is Matt Coughlin, the redshirt freshman from Cincinnati, knocking home the extra point. 28-3 now, Michigan State. It's an 8-play, 45-yard touchdown drive for the Spartans.
Immediate timeout.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by the all-new Volkswagen Tiguan, the new king of the concrete jungle, and the DQ Blizzard. Now buy one Blizzard and get another for just 99 cents.
Red Sox Yankees Sunday Night Baseball, special time 7:30 Eastern. It'll be game 4 of the series. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN. That series right now tied at a game apiece. Game 3 going on right now. Michigan State leading at 28-3. Under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Good return out to the 30-31 yard line for Claire. And the Falcons will try to get something going. Last couple of series, the Michigan State defense has looked really good, Kirk Morrison. They forced a couple of 3-and-outs. and they didn't force any in the first half. Kind of like the offense today for Michigan State. The defense a little slow to get going, but now they're starting to find a stride.
Yeah, it's a young defense. And talking with Mike Tressel yesterday, he said a lot of guys have earned his trust. They thought last year they inserted guys, and when you only have 4 full-time starters coming back on your defense, they went through a lot of injuries as well. But guys now have earned his trust, and you're seeing them today go out there. A lot of young freshmen playing.
James Morgan taking a shot. Incomplete. Went for Guyton again. Datron Guyton, who he hooked up with in the first quarter for a 45-yard pass play that led to a field goal. Justin Lane covered it well this time.
Yeah, Justin Lane is having a tremendous game today. Just a young sophomore. He's out of phase. What we call out of phase is when the wide receiver is ahead of you, but he doesn't panic. See, this is where the experiences start to come in. I talked about the trust factor. Mike Tressel trusts in his young sophomore cornerbacks, and he trusted in Lane there to be there for make the play.
There's an interception. Tyson Smith, touchdown. No one happier to be playing today than Tyson Smith. And he's got a pick 6. A 36-yard interception return for a touchdown for junior Tyson Smith. And Coughlin's extra point. First turnover for Bowling Green.
Tyson Smith, the junior cornerback, he's just reading. He jumps in front, makes the interception, and races for a touchdown. Clegg, I'll tell you this, I'm getting chills up here. Because when you talk about the story of Tyson Smith, you get chills, you get emotional, because here's a guy that shouldn't be out on that field today. And you see the reception he's getting from his teammates. They know how huge that last play was for Mr. Smith.
The young man suffered a stroke back in November. 19 years old and suffered a stroke. I mean, not many 19-year-olds go through what he went through. He thought it was a headache at first. Lived with it for a couple of days, finally got checked out. Doctors told him, son, you suffered a stroke. And it's amazing that he was able to not only be athletic again as far as jogging and running and doing the things 19-year-olds do, but to be back out on the football field and do what he just did here today, it's a miracle.
And while he's going through that entire situation, he loses his grandmother. And so he's like adding on it because he's going through something, and he never had a chance to tell his grandma what he was going through. But that play right there, I'm telling you, gives you chills.
So happy to be back playing. Got a clean bill of health, and look at the sideline for Michigan State. So happy for the junior from Southfield, Michigan, Tyson Smith. They know what he's gone through.
Every guy on that team, giving him a hug, giving him a tap, and he thought his football career was over. He started thinking about, what do I do next? And he said if he got the opportunity to get back on the football field, he's giving everything that he's got every single play. And now he's become a big inspiration, I think, for that football team, Michigan State.
Harlan Barnett and Mike Tressel, the co-defensive coordinators, have to be really pleased with what they've seen from their young corners. I mean, they've got 2 sophomores, a true freshman and a junior in Tyson Smith, leading the 2 deep at both of those spots, and they have all played well today. Josh Cleveland will pick up 4 yards on that carry, second down at 6 for Bowling Green.
Yeah, playing cornerback at Michigan State, there's some lineage there. We talked about the quarterback lineage here at Michigan State, but you throw out the names like Darquez Denard, you throw out the Trey Waynes, you know, you're throwing out guys that are playing at the next level, and the reason why is because they're able to play early on. I mean, you talk about sophomores and freshmen and juniors, they've earned the trust to go out there and allow them to go out and make the plays.
Morgan pressured. And the throw is out of the reach of the intended receiver, the tight end, Hunter Fulkertsma. And out third down. There's Fry, voted a team captain for 2017. Again, who are the leaders going to be this year? I think Fry already today has shown that he can do it.
But you mentioned Fry, but Fry's the only senior starter listed. Okay, this is nothing but juniors and sophomores and freshmen, and Tyson Smith throwing his name in the hat to get some of that playing time as well.
How could you not follow a guy that's done what he's been able to do? Incomplete. Again, well covered in the secondary. Justin Lane, the sophomore corner from Cleveland. Tio Redding was the intended target for James Morgan, who picks himself up off the grass. So fourth down, and the punter will come on again. Third straight 3 and out forced by the Michigan State defense.
Yeah, it's just the patience of the cornerbacks. They've been on top of these wide receivers. Well, I thought we were going to have a big day, for Bowling Green. It was Scott Miller, Datron Guyton, the Oregon State transfer, and Tio Redding. Early on, they had some success, but these cornerbacks, safeties, have all settled in for Michigan State, and you're seeing them read and react to the football.
Darrell Stewart back to return this punt from Joseph Davidson, his 6th kick today. And Stewart swarmed under at the 27-yard line. Let's take a look at this week's AP poll, brought to us by Goodyear. Alabama, the preseason #1. Ohio State #2. Florida State #3. And, of course, Bama, Florida State meet tonight on ABC. Penn State in the Big Ten. James Franklin has got that program rolling. If the Nittany Lions are going to have any say in the college football playoff this year, they're certainly expected to have a good year. Ohio State with the win, they're 1-0.
Number 10, Oklahoma State. Mason Rudolph, Thursday night, showing people why you can't count out the Cowboys of Okie State.
Here's Lewerke. Handing off Madre London. And he's going to get about 6 yards. Second down coming up. You can keep it close eye on everything going on this Labor Day weekend with the ESPN app. Of course, Florida State and Alabama tonight. Who do you like in that game, Kirk?
I think it's hard to go against Alabama. I mean, when you look at what they have coming back, and Jalen Hurts, the SEC Player of the Year offensively, the only question mark that I have is Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator. They went through 3 offensive coordinators in the span of a year between Sarkisian and Kiffin and Daboll. So we'll see how that offense looks for Alabama.
That's a good run for London. First down for Michigan State out to the 44-yard line. Jeffries makes the tackle in the secondary as we're under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Good quarterback battle in that game tonight, Florida State and Alabama. DeAndre Francois, very good sophomore quarterback in his own right. He could have a big year.
But you know I'm a defensive guy, Clay. So you go quarterbacks. I'm talking about Derwin James over at Florida State, Minka Fitzpatrick at Alabama. 2 of the premier
Great
defenders in college football to be on display tonight. So quarterback display, yes. But, man, defense, we're going to see some stars tonight.
We'll keep it on the ground. London wrapped up short of the line of scrimmage. That is a good-looking open field tackle there for Armani Posey, the weak side linebacker who's been playing a lot here in this ball game. Aaron Banks left in the first half with an apparent injury. Last play of the third quarter.
The end of the third quarter.
We look forward to the fourth. It's a big lead for Michigan State in the season opener.
Spartans first and 10 at the 42.
Back here at Spartan Stadium, getting ready for the fourth quarter. Clay Matvick, former San Diego State Aztec, Kirk Morrison, and a new quarterback for the Spartans, Damian Terry, a senior from Erie, Pennsylvania. He's had a tough career staying healthy. Hands off to L.J. Scott on second down. And it's picked up here by Bowling Green, coming back the other way. This is Cameron Jeffries, the corner, and he's going to take it into the end zone. No penalty flags. There was no whistle that we heard. So Bowling Green gets its first touchdown.
There's a fumble recovered by Bowling Green for a touchdown.
If this stands, it'll be the second fumble for L.J. Scott.
We got to see if this was where they stopped the play or he thought his progress had already been impeded. Wrap-up tackle there by Jonah Harper. He's on top of a player, but where's that left hand, though? Where's that left hand? Is the hand down or an elbow or a forearm? If we can get another look at that, I think you'll know more if he was down or not.
The previous play of a fumble was under further review.
And it's really hard to tell from that first angle.
Yeah, I think the end zone will give us a better look at it as he's going down. And I see the forearm goes down. So I think he'll be down on that one. I saw the forearm go down first. And to me, it looks to be that they'll rule him down. There's a lot of feet, a lot of legs and arms flying around. But, you know, if you're L.J. Scott, and I want to bring him up a little bit ago because he's the guy who we talked about in our open. And we haven't talked about him pretty much after that. He's been pretty much silent outside of the fumble earlier on by the goal line. He's really been a non-factor for Michigan State. It's really been the legs and the arm of Lewerke that's really carried this team. And I thought this was going to be a team that L.J. Scott was going to carry early on and allow Lewerke to acclimate himself into the offense.
Ruled a fumble on the field. A 46-yard fumble return for a touchdown for Cameron Jeffries is where it stands right now, but it's being reviewed. There has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. But you're right, L.J. Scott, 15 carries today, just 39 yards, a long of 6 yards. Fumbled on the 1-yard line in the first quarter. It led to a Bowling Green field goal. Now, did he cough it up here?
And you've seen Gerald Holmes and Madre London both get, you know, a ton of carries so far. And Mark D'Antonio said it. He's going to go with the hot hand. What's the hot hand? And you have 3 backs. You go with the guy who's...
Review, the ruling stands as called. Touchdown.
It's a touchdown. Armani Posey, number 7 for Bowling Green, stripped it. Cameron Jeffries brings it back 46 yards for a Bowling Green touchdown. The second turnover for L.J. Scott today. Jake Suter comes on for the extra point. 3 Michigan State turnovers, 4 total fumbles, but 3 giveaways, and they have led to 10 Bowling Green points.
Bowling Green fighting to the end. Talk about the defensive line earlier. There's no quit, there's no give up with the Bowling Green Falcons.
(35-10) Michigan State early in the fourth quarter. Ball security has been an issue for the Spartans, even though they've got a comfortable lead. 18 turnovers last year, tied for 47th in the country. Already 3 today, 2 by their leading running back, L.J. Scott.
Got to protect the football, especially early in the year, protecting the football. But now teams are going to go against Michigan State and say, hey, you know what? They'll cough it up. Let's go grab one.
L.J. Scott on the opening series saw it come out at the 1-yard line. It was a good drive up until this point. 7 plays, 65 yards, but then Scott gives it away. Bowling Green brings it back. It leads to a field goal. They took the lead. And just moments ago, Scott thought he was down. No whistle. They reviewed it. Indeed, he was not down. And Jeffries brings it back to the house for the Falcons.
A very disappointing day for the Doak Walker Award watch list running back, L.J. Scott. I mean, a lot of expectations going into this season for the guy who's supposed to lead this team. You know, everybody talked about number three, and so far a disappointing day for L.J. Scott.
Penalty flag.
Full start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Kevin Jarvis, the backup guard. 4th penalty against the Spartans. You know, L.J. Scott did not start well last year either. He got it going late in the season, had big games, especially against the rivals, Michigan and Ohio State. So he did turn it on in the second half. They were hoping for a faster start this year, however.
Yeah, and look, the NFL talk is there in the building. They understand that he's a guy that can play at the next level, but they need him to go out and figure some things out, is to be an all-around back. And right now today is not the performance he expected.
Meanwhile, an expiring run for Madre London. It's a gain of 9. Second down and 6.
So you ride the wave, and the next man up is either Madre London or Gerald Holmes. Two guys that can still get the job done, and they're different backs. You know, Holmes more of the big blocker in the passing game, but great patience. London more of a home run hitting type back, but all of them 6'1", 218 pounds or more.
They fake it to London. This is Damian Terry rolling out. He throws, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Bring up third down.
You know, it's got to be a luxury for Coach D'Antonio and Dave Warner, offensive coordinator, that, you know, anything happens to your redshirt sophomore quarterback. Here's a redshirt senior in Terry, who's been there, knows the system, knows the scheme, knows what's expected of the offense. That if anything does happen, you have a backup quarterback that you can rely on, and not much drop off when it comes to what you install week to week as far as your game plan.
Here's Terry. He'll throw, incomplete. A little button hook route for Hunter Rison. Again, Andre Rison's son, who played here in the late 80s. It's incomplete. Fourth down for Michigan State. But Damian Terry, he got his first career start in the season finale last year at Penn State. And we talked about him unable to stay healthy throughout the balance of his career. He suffered a concussion in the first half of that game. It seems like for Terry, it's been one thing after another.
Yeah, it's been one thing after another, and he understands where he's at now. Look, redshirt senior, the kid in front of he's a sophomore. You got to be ready to go at any point, and that's what Terry's going to be relied on for this year.
Milton with the fair catch. Good punt from Jake Hartbarger. 50-yard kick. 13:46 to go. All Michigan State.
I got realness. I just cause it's in my DNA.
Clay Matvick, Kirk Morrison back here in East Lansing, 35-10. Michigan State leading 13:46 to go. There have been some good times. There have been some bad times today for Michigan State, but they do have a comfortable lead as Andrew Clare runs it here for Bowling Green. It's out close to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 3. It's going to bring up second down and 7. This running game for Bowling Green has been really locked up, Kirk, by this Michigan State defense. Just 26 rushing yards in total today.
Yeah, it's not what they expected. They expected to come in Bowling Green and run the football effectively to help set up the passing game. They know Morgan's got an arm, but the run is going to set it up.
There is that arm. Batted down. Josiah Scott has left hand in there to swat it away from Guyton. Don't forget Alabama, number 3 Florida State in Atlanta tonight. The first time in college football history, number 1 opens up against a top 3 opponent. It's going to be epic. Coverage kicks off at 8 Eastern on ABC. Since 2010, 2 of the best programs in college football.
They're playing in Atlanta, new Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Great way.
I had a chance to go tour it, Clay. You know, during
Get it started.
ESPN college football seminar. It's going to be a great venue to start the college football season off.
Crossing route. That is caught. And a good run after the catch for Tio Redding in the Michigan State territory to the 44-yard line. Yeah, Atlanta really the center of the college football world this weekend. You got the big games going on, plus it's home to the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm sure people are taking that in while they're there for the games.
Yeah, you get Tennessee, Georgia Tech on Monday at the same venue, and just a lot of storied programs, you know, a lot of brand programs. You put that, you know, that A up there, we know that's Alabama. You put that F and the S and the little spear through that, man. Just some quality programs playing in some big games on the opening weekend of college football.
Josh Cleveland, that carry. Up 2nd down and 8. Don't forget, keep track of everything going on this weekend and everything going on throughout the college football season. Just have that ESPN app handy. It's the best way to keep tabs of several games at the same time. You've become an expert at that.
Yes, I have to be.
First time in Michigan State territory since the first quarter for Bowling Green. This is Cleveland trying to spin out of a tackle. And he stopped at the 37-yard line. Short of the first down. 3rd down and about 3 for Bowling Green.
4-down territory here for Bowling Green, and you understand the situation of the game. It's 35-10, but you're going to still run your offense and run your identity. And Bowling Green last year, they didn't have an identity early on. They thought they could throw it around 60, 65 times a game, and that's not going to work for what we have at the school. They said they had one of the best recruiting classes so far in Bowling Green history, they felt. And 2 years into it now, going in the 2nd year now for Mike Jinks. They feel that they're starting to get the players that can compete at the level.
Delay game. Offense.
I think Bowling Green actually got the timeout.
Prior to the ball being snapped, Bowling Green took a timeout.
Yep.
Their first of the 3rd quarter. Media timeout.
Timeout, Bowling Green. Just over 11 minutes to go here in East Lansing.
Maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here.
Team NCAA titles. The only school in the country to win multiple national championships in football, men's basketball, and hockey. Michigan State. Out of the timeout, 3rd down and 3 for Bowling Green. They're going to keep it on the ground. Michigan State was ready. Kari Willis, number 27, the strong safety, who's had a handful of starts over the last couple of years. Now the clear number 1 at that spot. Makes it 4th down and 3 for Bowling Green.
When your number's called, you go out there and make a play, and 27 getting through the line of scrimmage, making a play in the backfield.
Now Bowling Green keep the offense on the field.
Watch this Michigan State defensive line here pin their ears back.
2nd time going for it on 4th down. And hit is Guyton. Same result. The Michigan State defense makes the stop. Spartans take over on downs. Joe Bocci, the middle linebacker, he's played well today. Number 35.
Yeah, we talked about the lineage in so many positions here at Michigan State. It's quarterbacks, it's running backs, but don't forget about the linebackers.
Back to live action. Brian Lewerke back in the game, throws a ball deep downfield to Felton Davis, who he's hooked up with for a couple of touchdowns today, but it lands incomplete. Montre Gregory in on that coverage, but Lewerke back in after sitting out the last series.
That's probably one of the best balls he's thrown all day. He puts it to where, and this is where I think the chemistry between Davis and Lewerke, you're starting to see it, is that sometimes it's not going to be a perfect pass, but give Davis an opportunity to go up and make a catch, and he's going to try to haul it down.
Now Lewerke finds a wide open Darrell Stewart, who eludes a couple of tacklers and works ahead to the 1st down marker and beyond to the 44 of Bowling Green. Darrell Stewart, who Mark D'Antonio said had the best camp of any wide receiver, a little banged up on that play. but he moves the chains for the Spartans.
Well, you can see what he does everything for this offense. He's also the punt returner, but you've seen him run the ball, at least 3 or 4 times in those end arounds, and now getting him the ball in the slot, letting him make a catch and go do what you do, which is make guys miss.
Lewerke gets it complete to the 39-yard line. Larice Nelson, true freshman slot receiver, with his first catch. Darrell Stewart, whose mother, some of his family and friends were displaced because of Hurricane Harvey. It's been really good to see Darrell Stewart and Tyler Higbee, another Houston native. He's an offensive lineman for Michigan State. Come on out here and play well today, despite all the distractions they've had personally.
Yeah, sometimes football, that's what it gives you. It gives you that moment of sanctuary out there on the football field and forget about what's going on the outside.
Coming back to the ball, Davis couldn't make the catch. Darrell Stewart today, and a weapon for Michigan State.
Well, I've called him Mr. Everything. Here he is on the end around, going around, making the guy miss, going up the sideline. But I think outside of him and what he does with the ball in his hand, he's still a talented route runner. And in the slot, you get him one-on-one with a safety or a corner. I just think it's a mismatch. And once he gets the ball in his hands, if you don't tag him down or put a hit on him, he's able to take it the distance.
6 catches, 85 yards for Stewart. He's also had a few runs for 28 yards.
Easy. Hey, don't hit him. Come on, don't touch him.
Hey, guys, cool it. It's going to be 4th down and 5. So Darrell Stewart, we have seen the receiving core and just about everybody get a touch today. Yes. Stewart standing out maybe more than anybody next to Felton Davis. As a return man, as a receiver, what's ultimately going to be the way this offense uses him?
Well, I think, first of all, you have to put him in as a receiver, and I think he's going to work in the slot, but he gives him another option. But you mentioned all 3 true freshmen have touched the football today. Very talented at wide receiver, Michigan State.
Well, Scott tried to keep it out of the end zone, can't do it. So Bowling Green will have it at the 20 with 8.5 to go. This game in control of the Spartans.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
The Spartans' offseason was terrible. 4 players dismissed after charges of criminal sexual conduct. They couldn't wait for this season to get started. There's so many ugly things that happened this offseason surrounding this program. It was a slow start today for Mark D'Antonio's team, but got it going in the second quarter. They lead it here 35-10 with 8.5 to go. 1st and 10, man wide open. And that is the tight end, Hunter Folkertsma. Gets out to the 44-yard line, a 19-yard play for the Falcons. Austin Robertson, Donnie Corley, Josh King, Demetric Vance, all from the 2016 recruiting class. All 4 projected as starters this year. And all of that led to more roster upheaval as Domer gets his first touch for the Falcons. 13 underclassmen no longer with the program. We talked about it for D'Antonio. The youngest program he's probably ever had as a head coach, with the 51 total freshmen. And after 90 wins in 9 years, 3-9 was bad enough, but all the ugliness that happened during the offseason, he couldn't have been prepared for that. And he feels his team has set the reset button. That's incomplete out at midfield, intended for Guyton.
You mentioned it, reset, restart. You know, figure it out. I think he had to look himself in the mirror and say, what happened? I think he trusted the team too much last year. And you have a lot of players who come to Michigan State and almost feel as if this is the norm. We're going to be in the hunt for the Big Ten championship, playing either the Rose Bowl, college football playoff, and That's just wasn't the case. They did not show up last year. They didn't make the plays that they did the year before to get them into the college football playoff. And so you hit the reset button and tell, hey, this is how we're going to do things around here. And you're starting to see off to a good start so far today.
Here's Morgan. Pass behind his receiver, and what a hit. David Dowell, the twin brother of Andrew Dowell, the weak side linebacker, throwing his weight around at the free safety spot.
Throwing his weight around, 6 foot, 191 pounds, and he unloads. We just talk about the depth they have now at safety, at corner, linebacker. They may be young, but I think this offseason they talked about this summer was one in which everybody came together, and the time spent this summer, they felt this team grew as much as they could in the offseason workouts.
Joseph Davidson with his 7th punt today. He had that 64-yarder in the first half. This one bounces out of bounds at the 22-yard line. A great weekend of college football as West Virginia and Virginia Tech on Sunday night primetime on ABC. Number 22 against number 21 at the home of the Redskins, FedEx Field. Coverage kicks off at 7:30 Eastern. Former Big East rivals. A couple of 10-win teams from a year ago. Just part of a jam-packed weekend on ABC and ESPN.
The old school Big East rivalry. I like that.
Lewerke is going to continue to work here with 7:21 to go. Damian Terry came in for that one series at quarterback. Madre London trying to bounce to the outside. He's going to be spun down by Brandon Harris. 2004 to 2006, Kirk. 3 straight years without a bowl for Michigan State. The last time they went back-to-back seasons without a bowl. And despite all the freshmen that are on this roster, do you see this team getting back to a bowl?
At least a bowl for sure. I think so. They have the depth, I think, defensively, and it depends on the quarterback. If you think about it, Brian Lewerke, if he's able to stay healthy, I believe this offense, he's going to get it going to where they can go out and win 7, 8 games. It's going to be about their offense, I think.
That's incomplete. Late throw for Darrell Stewart. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Mark D'Antonio, 90 wins, 3 Big Ten titles, 9 bowl trips, including the Rose Bowl trip to the college football playoff. But he knows it's what you've done for me lately in this culture today in sports. And 9 losses is unacceptable in East Lansing.
Yeah, he said it didn't feel right last year. You know, after the season ended, they had nothing to do in December and January. You know, they were last year getting ready for the college football, 2 years ago, college football playoff. Year before that, Rose Bowl. They were trying to figure out how do we get better as a program this last offseason.
Sokol. And about 2 yards short, the first down. Mark D'Antonio, 1 win in the Big Ten last season. It's a difficult schedule again this year as the punting unit's going to come out. They go to both Michigan and Ohio State this year. They also go to Minnesota. However, the potential for a fast start is there. They play the first 4 games at home. They don't leave the state until October 14th.
That's how you grow up. That's how you get your confidence in your young ball club early on, by staying in the state, playing Michigan here in state.
Marcus Milton at the 15-yard line. That's a 54-yard punt from Jake Hartbarger. Let's go back to Alabama and Michigan State. 2015, the college football playoff. Really, things have been downhill for the program since the loss that night. In the 3rd quarter, Cyrus Jones with a 57-yard punt return. Bama was in charge. There's Ridley from Jake Coker. Connor Cook didn't have a great night. He was intercepted here by Dylan Lee. First Michigan State quarterback to be a first-team All-Big Ten in 50 years, but an unfortunate end to his Spartans' career. And, of course, Alabama would beat Clemson in the national title game. And then last year, the 3-9 season. But it's not that long ago that this program was in the college football playoff to the 31-yard line. That's Scott Miller, the sure-handed receiver for the Falcons. They'll move the sticks.
They're striving to get back there, and it starts with the stability at quarterback. Last year, they did not have that. This year, you're hoping Brian Lewerke can be that stability for you. But not just this year. It's the year after that and the year after that. And that's really what we saw from Kirk Cousins, and we saw it, you know, from Connor Cook. And you hope that that's what Lewerke can bring you, the stability for years to come.
Picking his way ahead, Andrew Clare. True freshman running back. Getting some work here in the fourth quarter. Just under 5 minutes to go. 35-10 Michigan State. Didn't start out well, but they're going to get a season opening victory. They haven't lost a home opener since '98 when Nick Saban was the head coach. Incomplete. Janarvis Pugh, the sophomore receiver, the intended man. And Justin Lane, number 2, who's had a great day in the secondary, on the coverage for the Spartans.
Yeah, their entire secondary has played well. We talked about Josh Butler earlier. Justin Lane doing a terrific job. We saw Tyson Smith with the interception return for a touchdown. Kyrie Willis, the safety, with a big play on third down earlier. This secondary, although they're young, feisty, can get after it.
Morgan, that is nearly picked off twice. David Dowell wants that one back. It was right in his hands. Well covered by the Spartans. There were several men in the area.
Yeah, Dowell just doing a good job of just reading the quarterback's eyes. Morgan, he doesn't take his eyes off the receiver. And Dowell, just a nice break. When you see it, you go get it. That's what the coaches always preach. When you see it, just go get it right now. And I think the ball got on him a little fast, because he could have made that interception. Would have been another return for a touchdown of an interception today for Michigan State on defense.
Yeah, Tyson Smith had a pick 6 earlier. Great story. Tyson Smith coming back from a stroke. This one rolls inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line. Good punt for Davidson. And Michigan State will have it with 4:19 to go in the ballgame. Chick-fil-A kickoff game, number 25, Tennessee, Georgia Tech from Atlanta. Monday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Both teams coming off 9-win seasons a year ago. It'll be interesting to see who Butch Jones runs out there at quarterback. 8 o'clock Monday night. Now we saw Wisconsin start slow last night against Utah State. Ohio State Thursday night against Indiana started slow, pulled away in the second half. Slow start here today for Michigan State, but it looks like all is going to end well.
Yeah, it's going to end well, and a lot of it has to do with, I thought the offense started to wake up when Brian Lewerke really got going, and it was about getting some safe throws early, get his confidence going, but it was his legs that really opened up the offense. And then throughout the course of the day, 10 different Spartan receivers catching passes. I mean, that helps out a lot. They spread the football around. There's some playmakers, and they're still going to try to find roles with those true freshmen wide receivers. You mentioned Darrell Stewart earlier. Felton Davis, the big target for him. Just throw it up and let him go get it.
Damian Terry coming back in at quarterback. The senior hands off, and this is Gerald Holmes. Good run. Lowers his head, gets to the 33-yard line. It's a run of 17 for Gerald. As you look at Brian Lewerke's day, the redshirt sophomore.
Something to build on. I mean, his day is going to be something that when he looks back at the tape, you know, he had a fumble himself. Obviously, it was recovered by his own team, but he's got to learn to protect the football. You know, freshman mistakes are going to be there. Even though he's a sophomore, he didn't play a lot last year. Just want to get those mistakes out early in the season and not later.
Holmes again runs into the defense. No game. You and I were talking to Lewerke this week. He's a native of Phoenix, Arizona. He was very worried about the temperatures today. They're going to be in the low 60s, mid 60s at kickoff. He's not used to that as a Phoenix native.
No, not at all. He said it's always warm over there in Phoenix, Arizona. But I said, how did Michigan State get on your radar? And it was, he said, watching Michigan State play in the Rose Bowl, Connor Cook at quarterback, and he said, that's where I want to go.
Maybe because of the cool temps, it took him a while to warm up, but he indeed did. Here's Terry. Head to Holmes. Damian Terry, you said the veteran quarterback. They may need him from time to time behind Lewerke.
Especially when Lewerke, the kind of quarterback that he is, we know about the arm, but let's also talk about when he utilizes his legs, he has to understand when to keep himself out of harm's way and get out of bounds. Sometimes you don't want to take those shots, those hits, sacrificing the body. We saw him dive for a 3rd and long earlier in the game. As long as you can minimize the hits, that's what you want for your young redshirt sophomore quarterback.
Give it to, well, fake it to Holmes. Terry on the rollout had it batted down. That was Ben Hale with the swat. 4th down, and the punter, Hartbarger, will come out again. With a minute 31 to go here in East Lansing. Talked about Davidson. Hartbarger's got some NFL potential too with that leg. Inside the 5 is Milton. That was a great punt from Jake Hartbarger. Now we take a look at this great play with the All-State's all hands in replay. Pick 6 for Tyson Smith. An amazing story. Inspirational, maybe the most inspirational story in college football this year. He suffered a stroke back in November, not only back playing, but able to do stuff like that, Kirk.
Yeah, that's a big play. A big play for him, big play for the football team, the program, the university. Everybody knows his story around here. And that's why you see so much joy and excitement that he's brought, I think, to this football team. You know, a lot of young guys don't go through what he's been through. And he's been, I think, an inspiration for a lot of guys to look over there at Tyson Smith and say, you know what, if he can do it, I know I can.
Michigan State, their first of the half, 30 seconds.
Timeout, Michigan State. And it was that interception return that was part of 4 straight series where Michigan State had it going. 3 offensive that resulted in touchdowns, and then the pick 6. That's when Michigan State really took control of this football game. That was in the 3rd quarter.
And you remember that there is no preseason football in college. So this is honestly their first real live game action to get somebody outside of a green and white jersey. So, you know, there's going to be mistakes early on. They settled in offensively, and then defensively they started to make plays. Smith with a big interception for the touchdown. But I thought the corners in general played terrific today against a Bowling Green team that is very talented in the offensive wide receiving room.
Handoff. Matt Domer, the redshirt sophomore who missed last year with an ACL injury. They're happy to have him back. He gets the 1st down. Bowling Green is going to go to 0-3 all time against Michigan State. In 1981 and 2007, the Falcons were able to keep it close. Not so much the case here today. We're going to host South Dakota next week before going to another Big Ten opponent, Northwestern. And many calling Northwestern a contender in that Big Ten West, Kirk.
Yeah, we talked about some of the longest tenured coaches in college football, and especially in the Big Ten. Kirk Ferentz over at Iowa, then Fitzgerald at Northwestern, and then Mark D'Antonio here at Michigan State. So you can never count out a Northwestern. It's so hard. You want to watch them play, and sometimes you say, do we or can they be a team that can contend? And they always find a way to upset someone and keep their name in that kind of conversation.
The shoe came off. Helmet came off on the play before. That was Stevens Jr. on that run. You don't have to go to the sideline when your shoe comes off. He does anyway, but just over a half minute to go here in East Lansing. Spartans are going to get their first win of 2017 when wins were very hard to come by in 2016. Redshirt sophomore quarterback Brian Lewerke is the guy this year. He throws 3 touchdown passes today. And there's a penalty, a delay of game.
There is no delay of game. The play clock did not get reset to 40 seconds. The game clock will start on my ready for play.
There you have it. 22 for 33, 250 yards in those 3 touchdown passes. Michigan State overcomes 3 turnovers. It was a little sloppy at times, but they get the win, 35-10. Here in the season opener over Bowling Green.
Yeah, a lot to look at come next week. It doesn't get any easier for Michigan State. Western Michigan coming in here. But a lot to build on from this. A lot to build on for Michigan State.
Coming up at 3:30, you can catch All-State Saturday kickoff Troy and Boise State. For now, let's take you to ESPN Goal Line.